Hello, friends. Welcome to the weekly broadcast of the Peace Police. We're glad you're here. I'm Rick White, president of the Peace Police, and I have with me my friend, brother, and founder, Lowell Pass. How you doing, Lowell?
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? How you doing, Rick? Good to be back.
I am doing well. It is good to be back. It's good to be in America. It's good to be, loved by God and in a state of grace and in this great country, man. What's there
Indeed, it is.
what's there to complain about?
Whatever's left of what we got, we're going to hang on to as long as we can. But it's been a blessing and really
That's
a lot
right.
of favor. Hmm.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I got to tell you, brother, we've been doing this thing now on Peace Police here for since it was June, right? Or July?
July, yeah, so
July
over a
of,
year.
of 2017. So we're up to mid September now. So 14 months of doing this. And, I don't get tired of it. I enjoy doing it. Um, good or bad, we don't lose material very much because as long as Donald Trump's in office, there's pretty much a steady stream of people behaving in an uncivil way, right? So,
Yeah, you've got a lot of this TDS or whatever they want to call it
yeah, Trump,
syndrome going
Trump,
on. A
Trump.
lot of hate there. A lot of hate out there.
It's
Not just
true.
a regular old president. Or
Yeah.
not just the president that has done a lot of successful things. It's something about him, that draws the anger of people and the hate, and then boy, it's wild.
Well, and we've seen it even. I know you've experienced this. It's no fun, but even our own families. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, it's really weird. I remember. I mean, I think as far back as I remember with any clarity, believe it or not, is Nixon. So that tells you how old I am.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
go back before that even.
you do probably, but I do remember Nixon, and I remember Ford, and
Yep.
then Carter, and everyone since. And I we've seen politics over the years. I'm not sure I've ever seen it this hateful. Um, I mean,
No.
there were people that didn't like Reagan. Reagan was very popular with many conservatives and very
Even
unpopular.
won California, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
The last Republican to win California.
Yeah, and he was pretty unpopular with most liberals. Yet, um, I didn't see the kind of attacks. They would even then they would say his policies are bad, but they wouldn't call him a Nazi or say that he's Hitler
White
or
supremacist.
yeah. And you know what's funny, Lowell, is, and I really do like and I did like and respect Reagan. He was a cool guy,
I did
but
too.
he was a Hollywood dude. He
Hmm.
was, he was kind of a non-politician. Now he had done some before he got the president. He was governor and
Governor.
stuff, but he was a Hollywood guy with the women and all that stuff. And but he, people still kept it on the issues. Really, that's all you and I are trying to talk about, right? We're never
Yeah.
yell. We don't ever yell at people for discussing the issues. Isn't that right?
No, in fact, we enjoy it, and everybody, as a responsible American, should enjoy discussing what you believe and why you believe it, and be able to talk about themes. Talk about issues, talk about
Right.
the actual policies, rather than something you don't like about the person.
Right.
And that's
That's right. And when you tune into this broadcast, folks, you'll sometimes hear our opinions on, since we're both conservative, you'll hear kind of a conservative bent on stuff. Hey, just so you know, we recognize that as our opinions, but
sure.
and that's all right. We're not going to stop being who we are. But really, why we're here, and we want you to call us out if we get hateful. We call out folks on the right, including the president, when he says things he shouldn't say.
Mhm.
That's what this organization is about. In fact, Lowell, could you spend just a few minutes talking about June of 2018 and what went through your head and why we're even doing this?
Yeah, it's just, of course, I like to tune into the news quite a bit and look at both sides, see what's happening. And I just, over the years, even way before Trump, I began to recognize a pattern of people starting to categorize, in groups where they wouldn't be flexible at all about even discussing things. But when Trump came along, it amped up to another whole level. And even when he announced his presidency, all the people that were around him that were friends, I mean, you can go back and find videos and photos of people with him, Hispanics, blacks, all these types. And then all of a sudden, as soon as he announced he's going to go for president, they go into what I call an idiot gear,
Right.
or an unhinged mode. And it began to worry me that people were getting so violent and aggressive with each other that it wasn't any longer just a discussion of politics. We're coming to a civil war if we don't do something about this. And I had, in late June, some successive dreams, 3 times repetitious dreams, the same dream over and over, about people fighting in the streets, being violent, burning things, getting in each other's face, nothing civil about it. And it just bothered me, where I'd wake up to go back, have the dream, and have it 3 nights in a row. And it got to the point where I'm thinking, man, that must be a sign for me to at least try to do something about this. Who can little old me, what can I do,
Right.
But I called you up, told you about it, and you thought the idea was great, because in my dream, I saw a thing where it said Peace Police on these shirts.
Right.
There was a grassroots group of people, not kind of in the middle, but they held both sides, but were saying, stop it, knock off the civil unrest, knock off the fighting, knock off the
Right.
violence. We don't
Right.
need to be this way. Let's get back to being respectful one for another. I called you up. You came up with a song for us, which is awesome. You came up with a great logo for our hat and our sign, which is now registered,
Yes.
copyright, or
Registered
whatever.
registered trademark.
And we just decided, hey, to launch this thing. And I think July 4th we launched it, or July 5th, and we
Right.
decided, hey, wherever it goes, whether it affects 100 people or 100 million,
Yeah.
let's just go where it goes, because to do nothing is not an option. Things are
That's
getting
right.
bad. So that's the foundation of the Peace Police.
There you go. And we have affected a bunch of people in these last 14 months, and we're going to keep going. And it's not about fame for us. It's not about money for us. Lowell and I have been around a long time when it comes to doing things that are, I'm not trying to pat each other on the back too much, but doing things that are for the greater good, not necessarily for money. I mean, we were co-pastors of a church for probably almost 2 decades, and we never made a dime. In fact, it cost us money, right?
That's right.
But that's because that's kind of what we're about, is finding a cause and really kind of giving to it. And we do that with the gospel. We actually have another Facebook broadcast called No Good Christians. You could check that out if you're interested. We're not pushing, the gospel so much on this Peace Police. In fact, there's Muslims involved in Peace Police. There's all kinds of folks involved in Peace Police, and we can work side by side together in America with people who believe in a different religion, unlike what the left would paint us as sometimes, as fanatical Christian right-winger fundamentalists who are just as, they say crazy things, don't they, Lowell? Like we're just as crazy as the Islamists who are blowing things up. No, that's not true. America is a melting pot, and we're all about that. And so everyone's welcome here in the Peace Police, and everyone's welcome to watch the other thing we do too. It's just that there we're going to kind of talk about religion in a deep way. But the point is that this great experiment was something that we're all supposed to get together on, no matter what you believe.
America, that's right.
And it's sad. I could picture, if you just let your mind go for a second, right? You could picture things getting really bad in the streets, and we got martial law, and then some people will probably come to their senses and get on the TV and say, "Listen, let's stop. Let's get back to peaceful coexistence." We're just trying to say it before that happens. We're
trying to head it off at the pass, the problem.
That's all. People will start saying, a group of people will start really speaking out when it gets bad. What we're trying to say is, let's stop it from getting bad, because in some ways it's already been bad. Look at you don't have to go too long without watching someone being interviewed on TV who got cold cocked or got something thrown at them, who's got stitches or a big black eye. Because
their car burned, or they're hit upside the head. It's sick.
It's sick. It is sick, and that's why we're here. So if you listening to this broadcast agree that we've got to tone down the rhetoric, the name calling, the insults on both sides, hear us say this, okay? We, even though we come from one side, we're saying both sides need to watch what they say, and we need to be more polite. If you agree with that, then you should think about joining the Peace Police. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to share my screen for a second and show you our website, and you get a chance to see what it means. So this is peacepolice.net. Let me get rid of some of these logos on here so you'll be able to see things better. So this is peacepolice.net, and you can see that we've got our core values. I'm going to talk about those real quick. The core values of the Peace Police are peace, civility, and discourse. This is really, if you can agree with these three things, then this is what we're about, and you could be a part of it. And that's that Americans are peace-loving people, yet lately it seems like peace among our citizenry is beginning to disintegrate. Rhetoric is becoming hostile and hateful. Shouting, verbal attacks, and harassment are becoming all too common. People need to learn to peacefully disagree. That's peace. That's not rocket science, right? As far as it's possible, do you be at peace with people? Civility. Our civility says, what happened to manners? What happened to polite disagreement? What happened to respect? You know what? Civility can be boiled down to one sentence. Act the way you were taught in kindergarten. Okay? No interrupting, no name calling, no picking on people, no bullying. That's civility. And then discourse. We're not trying to get people to shut up about their disagreements. We're not doing that. We want to talk about it. That's what America's about. So you can see those on the website here. You can definitely look at those. Lowell mentioned a theme song. I did create a theme song. You can get this song on iTunes. The link is right here on the website. You can play it on the website and you can read the lyrics. And where that comes from is Lowell and I are both musicians. We've been musicians almost all our lives. We've written songs together. We've put albums out together. And so music's really close and near and dear to our hearts. And so this theme song is available on iTunes, and it'll help us if you go get the song. We're not going to get rich from it, trust me. We make 69 cents anytime someone gets the song, and I don't think we've made $69 yet on it. So go get the song, because that'd help us. So that's something you can do there. There's a place here you can see called Join the Peace Police. All you got to do is agree with these 5 statements. And listen, I have friends who are very, very liberal who have agreed with these 5 statements, okay? I promise to listen to opinions carefully before rebutting them and to believe the best about people, even though we disagree. What a crazy concept. These are just kind, common sense things. So there's that. There's a message from our founder, which is Lowell, where you can he tells the story of how we came together. I really encourage you to check that out. There's a section called Know Your Rights, where from time to time we've got 2 links on there, and we'll add more as they come up. But you should know what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. You're allowed to stand in a public place and speak your opinion about politics, and you have the right to do.
That's right.
You have the right to do that, right, Lowell, without someone coming and punching you in the face.
That's right, and people today are confused on that issue. You have the right.
Yes. In fact, let's just talk about that for a second. The whole concept of freedom of speech, which is the First Amendment, right? The whole concept of freedom of speech is to protect speech that is disagreeable. We've forgotten about this in this country, Lowell. It's like now, anything that someone might be offended on, you're not allowed to say it, which is crazy.
Wow.
It's like there's no humor anymore, right, brother? It's like you can't even...
There's no humor, and also you get in trouble for saying stuff. You can lose a job over it. You can lose family, lose friend over it. For people to be that extreme, I'm telling you, they've lost they're off their rocker.
They are. You know why? Because every one of us has something that we've said or done in our past that we regret. You've got people,
That's right.
And if you don't, you're lying. To be honest with you, because I know.
Yeah, you're a liar right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Words.
That's right. If you think you don't have sins in your past, then you're just not being honest. So what happens is people are, finding something somebody said 35 years ago when they were like 18 and in college, And because they said that, now they can't host the Oscars. Or a joke somebody made 20 years ago, that 20 years ago, everybody thought this guy was the greatest comedian. Everyone laughed. No one got offended. But then our society has changed now to a society of offense, where I'm looking for a reason to get offended. And I want to be protected. And I don't want anyone to ever say anything that might damage me or hurt my feelings or cause me any discomfort whatsoever. So now you got people like Kevin Hart, who was going to host the Oscars. And because he had a joke 20 years ago, that was a joke that talked about the subject of homosexuality. Just so we're clear here, I've heard a million jokes about that. I don't really tell them much anymore. Society has changed, but others. The point is, there's just a double standard, because I don't think there's anyone that's clean, Lowell. If you want to go back,
Well,
20,
and not
30
only
years.
that, they're also trying to recreate the history of the country.
Right.
They're trying to do away with statues of people that were famous and helped make the country into what it is. At the time, they might have held some beliefs that were not quite right, but it's like a whole recreation of history and being politically correct. And when you lose the fact of where you've come from to where you've grown to,
Right.
and progress to, you really don't have a society that's based on anything except the propaganda that's being fed to them.
Yeah, it'd be different if there wasn't an ulterior motive, but it's so obvious that there is, because it's an unjust way, right? It's like,
That's right.
What about other things people didn't do right 20 years ago? You know what I mean? Is it only just if it's about race or it's about this? I mean, all of us did all kinds of things, and we move on. America's about second chances, but there's this militancy, and this is all coming from this concept of know your rights. So listen, it's important. Free speech matters. People die. Soldiers go overseas and fight and die to protect our right to speak free. So that's under the know your rights section. Now there's a shop section, and I want you to check this out, because this is where you can get the hats. And you've seen the hats on Lowell and I. You can't see them right now because I'm showing you the website, but they're $19 each, $19.95, and there's a shipping cost on them. But the shipping cost gets cheaper if you buy multiples, because it's the same. We can fit a lot of them into a single box. So they're $20. If you buy two, you save 10%. If you buy four, you get one free. There's all kinds of stuff you can do there. Another thing, if we go back to this home page, I would just want you to see on the bottom this thing that says Become a Patron. If you click there, you can support us on Patreon, and we would appreciate that, because again, we're not doing this to get rich, but if there's any more money that comes in, we can do some cool stuff, like get better audio equipment. We're back on video now, Lowell. We can do better audio equipment. We can put out new music. We can create videos. We can finish the books that we want to do. So we're looking to do all.
And by the way, Rick, just wearing that out there, you will have an automatic conversation starter, and it usually is really positive, with people wanting to know what it is and being really positive about it before they even know what it is.
Yeah, they see it, they're on board, and then when you explain it, like you said, Lowell, they're even more on board. And here's all you have to explain. We're just an organization where everyone's welcome, conservative, liberal, Republican, Democrat. We just all agree that we're going to, as far as it's possible with us, be at peace with each other. We're going to stay civil. We're going to remember the rules in kindergarten, and we're going to talk things through. That's it. Now, when you talk things through, do you sometimes reach an impasse? Yeah, so you would agree to disagree at that point. That's just
you
life.
wouldn't go starting to hate the other person.
Exactly. We've got to stop this. My family's already being torn apart. Just because I voted for Trump, there are people in my family that don't care for me anymore and would rather that I weren't even their friend, let alone their family member.
Shameful.
It is shameful. It really is shameful. And it undermines the great experiment of America. We're not supposed to be that way, ladies and gentlemen. We're supposed to understand that sometimes our party wins, sometimes our party loses. We're not a one-party system, and we're all going to be sometimes on top and sometimes not. And
that's right.
That's how we've lived for 300 years, Lowell. We've we've gotten
And
this.
if we stop doing it, we're not going to be the same country. We're going to be taken over from within by people who only want you to think one way. They want to do away with the Second Amendment. They want to do away with the First Amendment. They want to do away with any discourse whatsoever. And that is a very dangerous place to be.
It really is. So I don't see us stopping this anytime soon. We're going to keep going. We're just coming into the very beginning of the next election season. And it's already been ugly. It's going to keep getting ugly. Guess what? We're going to be here. But I encourage you, tell your friends about this. Go get the hat. We've sold some the last couple of weeks. Get the hat, okay? Join us.
Absolutely.
Tell everyone about this broadcast. Let people know that you can actually do something. Listen, most of us, most Americans, are in the middle a little more than what you see on television.
That's right.
Most of us are not screaming, crazy, fanatical people like what you see on TV. TV wants you to see it a certain way.
They want you to see the 5% on the fringes.
Right, but we're doing this peace police thing under the assumption that most of us are a little bit more rational than what you're seeing on television. So that just means this. We know how to love and care for a person even if we disagree with them in certain areas of life. We know how to do that. We know how to do that in our families, and we know how to do it in society. That's all we're trying to do here. And we just really are of the belief that if enough of us started talking like this, maybe wearing the hats, being recognized as people who are not going to...
The common sense wave might come over the country.
It could, Lowell. It really could. That's why we're here. That's right. I see my family friend cousin there, Frankie Luna, says it's okay to lose and it's okay to win. It's right. Sometimes we're going to lose and sometimes we're going to win. And we don't take our marbles and go home. Like when you're playing marbles on the playground and someone beats you, you don't just leave. We stay in the game and we get through it. There's skillful politicians out there, and sometimes the country votes one way. That doesn't mean that you have a license now to say everyone who voted a certain way is a Nazi, racist, homophobic criminal. You can't say
listen,
that.
If you're saying that, or you've been saying it, or you're thinking about saying it, you've got a sickness.
Yeah, you got to stop. That's right. And guess what? I don't say
it's
that.
It's not a civil sickness.
That's right. And I don't say that everybody who votes Democratic is a baby killer, even though I'm very much against abortion.
Very pro-life, but you wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't say that.
You might talk about the issue,
right?
But you wouldn't say to that person, "You're a baby killing whatever,"
No, what I would say, and I would talk about the issue, and we do, and that's the discourse part. And I feel like if you give me time, I'd like to share with you why I am pro-life, and let's talk about the issue. But I'm not gonna look at you and say because you voted Democratic, you like to go murder babies. You are a baby murderer. That kind of language doesn't help anybody. It doesn't. It stops the conversation.
It's not going to engender much love and affection.
No, and calling Trump supporters Nazis, and this is why the peace police exist. We have to stop that. Okay, let's talk. There's a great verse in the Bible that says, "Come, let us reason together." Let's reason together. Let's be reasonable people. That's what we're about here at the Peace Police. We hope you join us. We hope you get a hat. We hope you look at the website. You can do everything with us that you need to do on the website, including supporting us on Patreon, getting the song, reading our literature, getting the hat. Most importantly, you're on Facebook right now. That's where you're watching us, on the Facebook page of Peace Police.
That's right.
Can you tell people about this? Share this page. If you're listening to us, share this page on your Facebook profile. Just share the page. Maybe put a little blurb that says, hey, these guys are really trying to make a difference with society and with these political hatred, Something like that. Again, it's not for us. But this thing, if Lowell and I just sit here and talk to each other about this, we're not going to make a difference. The way we make a difference is if more and more people hear this message. So help
That's right.
us. Help us, okay?
And we thank the ones of you that have been doing it over the last year because it's grown significantly. So we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for your support. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you for everyone who's purchased a hat. Thank you for people that have become patrons on Patreon. Thank you very, very much. We don't want to be ungrateful. Please tell your friends. We're going to be here again next week and every week. And if that's all you got, Lowell, we'll take it.
That's it, my friend. Enjoyed it today.
Yeah, good short broadcast. But thank you for being here. Remember, spread the peace, stop the hate. Let's work together before it's too late. Bye-bye. We'll see you.
Spread the peace, stop the hate. Let's work together before it's too late. Spread the peace, stop the hate. Let's work together before it's too late. Spread the peace, stop the hate. Let's work together before it's too late. Spread the peace, stop the hate. Let's work together before it's too late. Now brave men died to keep you free. They paid the greatest price so you could speak your mind and live a long and happy life. But I turn on the news and see us fighting with each other. These hateful attitudes are turning brother against brother. If we don't fix this soon, there's gonna be chaos in the streets. There's no more time to lose. We gotta stand and spread the peace. Spread the peace, stop the hate. Let's work together.